Let's take a trip around the curve. NFL legend turned actor Jim Brown passed away this week. Known for his activism and his acting roles in The Dirty Dozen and more, Jim Brown was 87 years old. Jenna Malone, Terrence Howard, Christopher Lloyd, and Tom Everett Scott are set for the supernatural thriller The Movers. Rachel Brosnahan, Katrina Balfe, and Lawrence Fishburne join Rami Malek in thriller amateur for 20th Century Studios. Sisu is now available for PVOD nationwide. The 50th annual Daytime Emmys have been postponed due to the strike, which is in its fourth week, and Marvel is set to drop all episodes of the Hawkeye spinoff Echo at once on Disney Plus in a new streaming strategy. Disney is also removing dozens of series from Disney Plus, including Big Shot, Willow, Y, and Dollface. Sony pushes Harold and the Purple Crayon release to 2024. Ed Harris, Sonequa Martin Green, and Natalie Morales board the dark veteran dramedy My Dead Friend Zoe. Maura Tierney, Sasha Lane, Kieran Shipka, and David Corenswet are among the final additions to Lee Isaac Chung's disaster pick Twisters. Eddie Murphy is circling the new Pink Panther movie at MGM. Lena Hall is set to star in a Broadway-aimed Roy Orbison jukebox musical from Anne Juliet, writer and director. Sophia Boutella and Ben Kingsley joined Dave Bautista in the Lionsgate action comedy The Killer's Game. The 76th annual Cannes Film Festival is in full swing with stars ranging from Johnny Depp to Martin Scorsese, Leo DiCaprio, and many, many more. Harold Ford was presented with the honorary Palme d'Or, and Mel Gibson and Curtis 50 Cent Jackson pick Boneyard is set to screen at the festival. Dark and All the Light We Cannot See star Lewis Hoffman joins Bella Ramsey movie Monstrous Beauty. Jennifer Coolidge, Brian Cox, Dustin Hoffman, and Gabrielle Union are set for the crime comedy Riff Raff. Tim Burton documentary series featuring Johnny Depp, Helena Bonham Carter, Jenna Ortega, Winona Ryder, and more heads to the Cannes market. Maika Monroe and Troy Kotsur to lead the crime thriller In Cold Light. Shia LaBeouf is set to star in the action thriller Mace from director John Amiel in conjunction with Myriad Pictures. Stay tuned to the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata for more Cannes Report as the festival unfolds. Love to Love You, Donna Summer, Fast X, Still Michael J. Fox, and White Men Can't Jump all drop this week. So let's get right into it on the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata right now.
Hold up. Wait a minute. I wish you love, peace, and hair grease.
Love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Yeah, you know, we shoot straight from the hip.
This is Carla Renata, a.k.a. The Curvy Critic, and I shoot straight from the hip.
Yeah, you know, we shoot straight from the hip.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition to the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. I am your host, Carla Renata, and I'm so happy to see you. Yay. If this is your first time joining me, please give me a big thumbs up to let me know you are here if you are on YouTube, and subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications. If you are on Twitter, if you are on LinkedIn, subscribe to the channel. You never know who you're going to see here. Now, I don't have any interviews today, but baby, I got lots of film reviews for you. So let's get right on into it. I usually start the week or each episode talking about what we do here. And what I do here is I do film reviews and I talk to people above and below the line in the film industry. And then I do a quick little recap of what my week was like. So baby, my week was pretty chill. But before I get into that, I got two things to say. I want to wish this diva right here a happy 77th birthday. That's right. Cher turned 77 years old over the weekend. So happy birthday, Gypsy Tramp and Thief, honey. And then I talked about this in Around the Curve, but Harrison Ford was honored with the Palme d'Or Award at Cannes, which is in full swing right now. And they hit the red carpet, and it was a big moment. He's bringing Indiana Jones out for the first time in decades, and he got a standing O, which brought him to immense tears. Before they walked the carpet and watched the film, however, they did a quick little photo op with his co-star Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Now, While they were at Cannes, I was going to a screening of You Hurt My Feelings, which is directed by Nicole Hofstetter, and it stars Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Tobias Menzies. It is a great film, and I will have a review for that in a few weeks. But until that time, I went to the prom, honey. Yes, I went to the prom. Tiffany Haddish's She Ready Foundation did their first annual prom fundraiser for her organization, She Ready. And what She Ready does is they raise money for people that are in foster care, children that are in foster care. And she often tells the story of how the one thing that made her feel special when she aged out of foster care after dragging her belongings from one house to another in a trash bag was getting a suitcase. So there was a silent auction, but it really wasn't that silent. And this was my table. We had a good time, and she had those big prom lights up everywhere. You can see we partied till the break of dawn, honey. But we had a wonderful, 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 wonderful time. So let's just get right into it. Now, I know that a lot of you have seen this Michael J. Fox documentary called Still Michael J. Fox. I saw it at Sundance and I mentioned it to you guys then, but I'm going to do a little bit more of an in-depth dive into it today. Basically, it is a documentary that's chronicling the life and career of Michael J. Fox from his discovery and his stardom on the TV sitcom Family Ties to his Back to the Future superstardom to his Parkinson's diagnosis. Let me come back on camera so you can see me, because I have some things to say. So basically, this documentary, what it does is it humanizes movie stars, because a lot of people who are not in the industry, we think of movie stars as these bigger than life individuals, right? That their life is perfect, that they have no worries, that their health is great, all of that. Michael J. Fox puts a face to Parkinson's disease, and he was one of the first celebrities to come out and go to Congress and say, hey, we need money for stem cell research, after he discovered that stem cell research could actually be helpful for someone who has MS, someone who has Parkinson's, someone who has any kind of nerve disorder. It has been scientifically proven that stem cell research is helpful in those instances. It does not cure those diseases, but it is helpful in helping these individuals manage a close to normal life, other than the normalcy they've been forced to envelop in as a result of their diagnosis. So there's that. He unapologetically shows his struggles and his good days and his bad days, and how it's very challenging for him. But the thing that makes it not challenging is his wife, Tracy Pollan. And I'm going to show you her, because I think it's important that you see who she is. His wife played his girlfriend on Family Ties. Tracy Pollan. She didn't play his wife on Family Ties. She played his girlfriend on Family Ties. And then she went on to become his life partner. This is one of his stills from Family Ties. Now, we all know Michael J. Fox is a superstar. And let me just say this. Let me go back to Tracy. Let me just say this about Tracy. Tracy stood by him. A lot of women that are as gorgeous as she is, and may have been a little shallow, which she is absolutely 1000% not, the minute he got diagnosed would have bounced. She has stood by him and her children, and has been there for the long haul and continues to be. So we give her snaps and claps and a big old thumbs up for that. And the one thing that he had me cracking up talking about in the course of the documentary, which is streaming on Apple TV Plus right now, is he talked about how his kids could care less that he has Parkinson's. They're like, yeah, why are you moving so much? Children are, listen, a child will keep it real in a heartbeat. They will let you know what time it is. They do not care if they hurt your feelings. They're like, what's up? What's going down? We don't care. And so, as heartwarming as the documentary is, it is just as revealing, because it's hard for personalities like this to you know, open up their heart and let people into their life personally, because we're already in it professionally. And there's this ideology that because you're a public figure, people have to know everything that's going on with your life, i.e., what's going on with Jamie Foxx right now. I know that we have been very instrumental in helping him become a celebrity by liking him and supporting him by watching his movies, and the same for Michael J. Fox. But that does not give us the right to be all up in their business 24/7. They are human beings too, and they deserve the right to their privacy. So, having said all of that, I highly, highly suggest that you go see Michael J. Fox still Michael J. Fox on the Apple TV Plus app. It is streaming there right now. Okay, great. Now, next up, I want to do a little talking about this documentary called Dear Mama. I talked about it before, and I want to let you guys know I do some things for Beyond TV. They have an app, and Beyond is spelled BOND TV. BOND TV. And it is streaming on FX Hulu right now. And what it does is it is also a documentary that's directed and written by Alan Hughes, who gave us Menace to Society back in the day. And it delves into the relationship with six-time Grammy nominee Tupac Shakur and his mother Afeni Shakur, who was also a member of the Black Panther Party. It talks about the controversy between his record deal with Suge Knight. It talks about how he wanted to, delve more into movies like the one he did called Poetic Justice, which incidentally, I actually didn't know anything about Tupac Shakur until I saw Poetic Justice, and I was like, "Oh, who is this?" Not realizing I had already heard his music and just wasn't aware of who he was at the time. But baby, if you've seen Poetic Justice, you know he was a cutie. Look at him and Janet; they were just way too cute. And then it talks about Snoop Dogg talks about his struggles and his conflict with Tupac at some point, and how they never had a chance to get that right, because when somebody's gone, they're gone, right? But what this documentary does more than anything else is it shows who he was and how enlightened and intelligent and genius of a brain that this man had at 17. And I don't think people realize that his star only shone from the time he was 17 to the time he was 25. 25 is when he was gunned down in Vegas by random gunfire. That case is still unsolved at the moment. But I highly, highly suggest that you check it out. I think it's either 5 or 6 parts, but it's on FX Hulu. You can stream it in one sitting, or you can, take your time and watch it. But it was super, super revealing, and it makes you wonder, what would have been his life and career had he had the opportunity to live a little longer. So, having said that, um, I want to talk a little bit about this diva right here. Love to love who? Miss Donna Summer. Now, if that doesn't look familiar to you, Donna Summer was a huge disco star. Now, not too long ago, I had some interviews with the stars of, I think it was not, I want to say Solid Gold, because that was the name of the that was the name of the show. But I had Neil Bogart's son, who was the president of Casablanca Records back in the day, of which Donna Summer was one of their top grossing artists. But Donna Summer was huge, and she was deemed the queen of disco. Well, now there is a documentary talking all about her called Love to Love You Baby, Donna Summer. It's either called Love to Love You or Love to Love You Baby, Donna Summer. I have to check that out. But it is streaming on HBO right now. It started streaming yesterday. It's directed by Oscar winner Roger Ross Williams and Summer's daughter, Brooklyn Sedano. Here is a picture of Brooklyn and her mom right here. Isn't she gorgeous? She looks just like her mom, right? Like a little lighter caramel version of her mom. But Donna Summer was a beast back in the day. She was a force to be reckoned with, and her voice was angelic. It was gorgeous, and the thing that put her on, she had this song in the 70s called Love to Love You Baby, which is the title of the documentary, and it got banned in a couple of countries. People didn't want to play it on the radio because it wasn't sexually explicit, but the sounds that was making were very sexually explicit. We were like, "Oh no, who is that?" But she broke all kinds of boundaries, won all kinds of awards. She wrote most of the music that she recorded on the radio. She helped write and produce and perform Love to Love You Baby. Last Dance. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You can Google her and find out more about her. But the thing about this documentary that's streaming on HBO Max right now is this a really introspective look into this disco icon, because she was very private, so we knew little to nothing about her. As I just said, as I talked about how we need to give icons and celebrities their privacy. Donna Summer was immensely private. She had a very turbulent relationship with men that is revealed through some items that her daughters found as they were preparing to get this documentary ready for HBO, because they were young when she passed away, so they didn't know her as well as they would have liked to either. She had like a little secretive relationship with her daughters, because like I said, they didn't know her as well as they thought they did. There's some things come up about someone who violated her, and how what a toll that took on her as a person, as a mother, as a woman in the recording industry. And the toll that fame itself just takes on you as an artist, with your family, and just as a personal human being trying to navigate and deal with all of that. She seemed to be a beautiful soul who somehow escaped the tropes of the tragedy of dying from some drug overdose or something. Donna Summer died from lung cancer, which is so ironic because she sings for a living. Her daughters are gorgeous, and they were very, very careful in how they crafted this cinematic documentary piece to celebrate their mother in the best light possible. But you can take a look for yourself as you watch it on HBO Max. It is streaming there right now. Okay. Now these are the two I know y'all waiting for. So I've been talking about white man can't jump, white man can't jump, white man can't jump. And I am supposed to be at a block party for White Man Can't Jump. I may pop through there in a little bit after I finish doing this. But baby, White Man Can't Jump finally was released. And it stars Cinqua Walls and Jack Harlow in the roles that were inhabited in the original by Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes. Tiana Taylor and Laura Harrier play their significant others. And Cal Maddock is the director. Now I'm gonna come back on screen while I talk about Cal Maddock, because I got some things to say. Because as you remember, Cal Maddock is also the director for House Party, and I was not a big fan of that. And the House Party, White Man Can't Jump, and a couple of other films were films that were really popular when I was a little younger. So it was those are iconic to us, like The Color Purple and all that stuff. And so I was super disappointed with what they did with House Party. And I gotta say, I went into White Man Can't Jump, and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna like this. I didn't want to like it, but I kind of did. And this is why I liked it. I liked the pairing of Jack Harlow and Cinqua Walls. As you look at them in this photograph, they don't look like two people that would be friends, let alone in a movie together, because Jack Harlow, as we know, is a Grammy-winning recording artist, and Cinqua Walls has been slowly inching his way up the ladder in the leading man category, and he's doing a good job at it. But I liked it, and I love the spin on the original. So in this version, um, the two guys, Jeremy, who is played by uh, Jack Harlow, he comes in looking like the last of the yoga gurus, honey. It's horrible. But what I liked about it is that Cal Maddock's direction was much improved from the remake of House Party. Like I said, this version of White Man Can't Jump seemed a little bit more grounded than the other one. The other one was it was supposed to be light and fluffy and crazy and corny, you know what I mean? And we didn't get any we got but what I did not like about the new one that I did like about the old one is that there was a little bit more of a backstory. There was a little bit more of a backstory to the two men in the first one. In this one, we get very little backstory on the men. They're assuming that people already saw the first one and they're just going to go with the second one, which was kind of like, ooh, okay, that's all well, fine and good, but whatever. So I kind of had issues with that. I love that a lot of the locations were the same locations used in the original one, which my brother pointed out to me when we watched it. And I wish there had been more time with the women in the film, because in the first one we got to see why these women were so upset that their significant others were playing ball, right? We got to see why Wesley's wife was upset that he was playing ball. We got to see why Rosie Perez was pissy because Woody Harrelson was blowing the money playing ball. And this one, child, they got Jack Harlow popping pills. Like, really? They got him popping pills. He got knee surgery on both knees. Now, we both know there's no way you're going to have knee surgery on both knees and still be playing ball and be trying to get in a league. That is not going to happen. I'm sorry. Hate to bust your bubble. Hate to be a dream snatcher, but it ain't going to happen. Okay. Um, and so I didn't know about that. Kamal, who is Cinqua's character, they got Kamal having these anger issues. And getting arrested while he was at a game. And to me, that just spelled a little bit of a black man stereotype, black man anger issues, which I was like, there's a lot of black men sit on the bench and hear people catcall and they don't get up and whoop their ass. I'm just saying. So I was kind of like, can we just not do that? Can we kind of refrain from that? So those are the two issues that I had. And I love the soundtrack. The soundtrack was absolutely fire. So it's streaming on Hulu right now. You can catch it or not. It's streaming on Hulu. It's produced by 20th Century Studios. Calmatic did the thing with the directing this time. Kenya Barris wrote the script, and it was funny. I laughed out loud and I enjoyed it. So that's all I'm going to say about that. The other one I know y'all are waiting for me to talk about, other than White Men Can't Jump, is what? The Little Mermaid, because I played the interviews last week, but I didn't do the review. So let me just say that Bailey, Halle Bailey, not Chloe, but Halle Bailey is fire in The Little Mermaid. When this little girl in the first 5 minutes of the film sings Part of My World, I was like, I jumped and yelled. And now that's how you start a movie. That's how you start a movie, because this little mama did the daggum thing. She did it and then some. I was there for all of it. It's directed by Rob Marshall. Rob Marshall is a legend in the musical theater world, and he has since transcended into the cinematic world, and he's been directing a lot of musicals. He did Chicago, he's doing The Little Mermaid, he's done a whole bunch of stuff. So I really enjoyed his direction. I enjoyed Haley. I told y'all that Ursula with my girl Melissa McCarthy absolutely crushes it as a fantabulously devilish Ursula, doing a fantastic job with Poor Unfortunate Souls. David Diggs as Sebastian the Crab is hilarious with his little sidekicks, Aquafina Escudero and Jacob Tremblay. And it's just good, wholesome fun. And throughout the week, I've been seeing a lot of photos. They're starting to open the film. The film opens on May 26th, next weekend, right before Memorial Day. And so there's been a lot of premieres all over the world. And they shown Halle with little black girls on the carpet. And they're just like, oh, a princess. They're so in awe of her. And it's beautiful to watch. So I know that this got mixed reviews, but and I always say this, with films like The Little Mermaid, you have to tap into your inner child. You have to watch these types of films the way you would if you were a little kid. And if you were a little kid and if you loved The Little Mermaid the first time around, baby, you're going to like this live action version. And I got to say, not all of the Disney live action versions did I dig, but I definitely dug this one. All right. Last but not least, you know what I'm going to talk about, honey. Fast X. Because I got some things to say about somebody's Fast X. But before I do that, I just want to tell you about Tiana. So this is Tiana Taylor, who I talked about. She plays Cinqua, aka Jamal's wife, and this is Laura. Oh, that's the other thing I meant to say about White Men Can't Jump. Let me flip it back a little bit. Laura Harrier plays Jack Harlow, aka Jeremy's girlfriend. I dug the fact that they're having an interracial relationship like they did in the first one. What I didn't dig is that they kind of made her the angry black woman too. Like Rosie Perez was upset in the first one, but you understood why she was upset. You don't necessarily fully understand why she is upset. Like, she's upset because he popping pills, but she knew he was popping pills. She's upset because he still wants to play ball, but you knew that she knew he was still playing ball. So you're not really quite sure when she has this nervous breakdown where all of that anger is coming from. It seems out of character. And if this face looks familiar, she was in a Ryan there was a show on Netflix called Hollywood, and she starred in it. And the guy who brought you American Horror Story, the Betty Davis Joan Crawford battle on television, is the same person who brought you Hollywood and introduced you to this young lady. All right, so now that we've talked about White Men Can't Jump, we've talked about Dear Mama, we've talked about The Little Mermaid, we've talked about so many other things. Let's get into Fast X. Fast X is the 10th film in the Fast and Furious franchise. It opened this weekend and it is already raking in money hand over fist, right? This is what I liked. This is what I didn't. It's produced by Universal Pictures. It's directed by Louis Lederer. And the new faces, in addition to the core four, are Rita Moreno as Mama Toretto and Jason Momoa as Dante. Let me come on camera so that you can see my face and hear what I got to say about this, because I got some things to say. Now, when I tweeted about this, I said it was absolutely ridiculous, and it is. Fast X is absolutely ridiculous, but it's absolutely ridiculous, as someone who reached out to me on Twitter said, in the best way possible, because the fact that these films are absolutely ridiculous is part of the reason why fans love the franchise. That is absolutely true. I was like, I like the stunts. I liked seeing Rita Moreno in a franchise that is huge and ginormous as an Oscar winner, something that you would never, ever, ever think about seeing her do. And apparently her and Helen Mirren begged on their knees to be in this franchise. So I kind of love that. But what I don't love so much is I wish that I saw an article, an interview that the women did in the franchise, Michelle Rodriguez and Jordana Brewster. And they talked about how they would just love to not be babysitters for the men in the franchise and have a little more attention put on them. And I wholeheartedly agree. It's kind of like they have this whole little section off to the side where the women are doing their own thing and then they focus on the guys. The other thing that I don't like is that over time, over these last 10 movies, they have made Tyrese and Ludacris the comedic relief of the film. Can we make them a little, not make them serious, but can we focus on them a little bit? Can we show that they actually can do more than tell a joke? So between the men, the two brothers telling a joke and being thrust into space like they were the last time, and the women, being babysitters, that I did not love as much. I really didn't. I'm like, let's let the Black people and the women have a little more substance, because we have two more coming out. And so we got an 11 and a 12 coming before they supposedly finish the franchise. Hopefully, when they do that, we will be able to see a little more substance from our sisters and our brothers. And last but not least, Jason Momoa as this conducting, wielding, Joker dressed villain gave me all the feels. Jason Momoa was the best thing about he was the best thing about the film. Like, I was, whenever he came on screen, I was like this, and not because he got body yada yada and all that, but because he was actually really good playing a villain. I could watch him play a villain all day long. He was great. So let me just recap everything that we talked about so that you know what I said to watch, and then I'm gonna tell you what I got coming up, because I got some really cool things coming up in the future. So we talked about seeing Still, the Michael J. Fox story that is streaming on Apple TV Plus. We talked about Love to Love You with Miss Donna Summer. It's called Love to Love You, Donna Summer. It is on HBO Max. We talked about White Men Can't Jump, which is on Hulu and produced by 20th Century Studios. We talked about Dear Mama, which is also on Hulu. And we talked about The Little Mermaid, which is coming to you next weekend, courtesy of Disney. Okay. And I just want to close it out by showing you this super cute picture of the two mermaids together. Isn't that super cute? Just two beautiful mermaids with beautiful smiles and beautiful spirits that match. All right. So when I come back next week on May 20, what is the date next week? Then the 28th, going right into Memorial Day weekend, because Memorial Day actually hits on a Monday and not a Sunday this time. So yay for me. Then I won't be trying to do this on Memorial Day. But when I come back next week, oh yeah, and Fast X, of course. When I come back next week or in the next couple of weeks, I will have, hopefully, I will be talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse and speaking with my friend Brian Tyree Henry. I will be doing reviews on, ooh, where'd it go? Oh, there we go. The new movie coming out called Flamin' Hot, which Eva Longoria pictured there, is about Cheetos, y'all. A whole movie about how Cheetos became a thing. I am so excited for that. And then there's also going to be a documentary that's streaming on Netflix about Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know you're like, what could they possibly tell us about Arnold Schwarzenegger that we don't already know? Baby, you would absolutely be surprised. There's a whole bunch of stuff about Arnold Schwarzenegger that we don't know. And then in the coming weeks, coming up in the next couple of, well, not in the next couple of weeks, but in the next month or so, I have the entire cast of I'm a Virgo, which is going to be streaming on Amazon Plus. I have a surprise guest next week, and I'll talk about some films to stream on Memorial Day. I also, let me see here. I may have some people from The Flash. I'm not sure just yet. I'm working on that. And let me see. Okay, I'll do reviews of Shooting Stars. I want to let you guys know that there's going to be a re-release of Avatar: The Way of the Water. I told you about I'm a Virgo. I told you about Flamin' Hot Cheetos, Transformers, Rise of the Beast. We'll be talking about Asteroid City. I may have some interviews with The Flash. I may have some interviews with The Blackening. I may have some interviews with, in addition to reviewing all those films, and Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. All of these things will be coming up on the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata between now and the end of June. And I will let you know as the weeks go by which week that you will see them and which weeks you will not. So thank you for joining me for this brand new edition of the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. Again, if you are on YouTube, give me a big thumbs up to let me know you were there. Click the bell for notifications and subscribe to the channel and support your girl, okay? And yeah, I think that just about does it. So I think I'm going to head to, ooh, what am I doing? Oh, I think I'm going to head out and have a little block party action or watch American Idol. I'm not sure which one's going to come up next. So anyway, I'm like rambling. What am I doing? Have a great time. Wash your hands. Stay safe. Stay sane. And thank you so much for popping in. I appreciate you so much. And until the next time, love, peace, and hair grease. And deuces, baby.